Yeah, I'll explain this to you, obviously, from a surgeon perspective. Dr. Petcher probably could go in quite a bit more detail than I'll be able to, but the tunnel sizes, I think, the tunnel size for reconstruction, compared to the tunnel size for the bare implant is significantly less. And what I mean by tunnel is they actually have to, uh, drill through your shin bone, the top of your shin bone. They have to drill through the outside of your leg bone in order to kind of suture or tie the implant or the reconstruction back in. So if you have a smaller hole disrupting a smaller part of the joint surface, there's going to be less likely for irritation. Um, then you have that whole chemical response and that cascade that happens. This is a natural healing and natural change in your body versus an unnatural change in your body. With a patellar tendon or a quad tendon, you're taking a piece of the muscle or the piece that attaches to the bone from the muscle. So its ability to restrain or kind of activate very quickly is actually diminished. So you're going to have a little bit more latency on muscle activation. So if you slip, twist, all those things, which may not tear your ACL, but may cause micro, stress to the joint repeatedly enough because the quad's not firing quite as quick as quite as hard as it should, it's accumulation over time. Like I said, your tunnels are larger. There's, a whole bunch of other cascade of things that happen. But if you're taking something that is not naturally a ligament and having it turn into a ligament, we know that there's actually what we call proprioception, or your body's ability to know where it is in space. So there's like little receptors in the ACL and in your knee that kind of send signals to your brain that says, hey, our knee's about to dive in, the quad needs to really pick its slack up, and we need to kind of rotate our leg this way, or we got to move our trunk this way, we got to move our hip or our ankle in a certain manner. And then the brain has to understand it very quickly and then send the right signal to the right tissue in order to do what it needs to do to prevent. So with a reconstruction, we know you lose a little bit of that. And it doesn't take a large amount of loss, or we're talking like nanoseconds of time difference can be the difference of those little micro rotations or the micro stress on the joint, and building up over time. And then to dovetail back off of the muscle activation, those are your main shock absorbers, right? So if the muscle's not firing as quick as it can, as strong as it can, or at the same force that it should be able to, the joint's going to take up the blunt of the blow, right? So it's just accumulation of those small little things that happen after the fact. But the big thing I think during surgery is the tunnels are much smaller. It's much less of an invasive type procedure. They can do more of like it's called an inside technique, where they're not disrupting all the tissues outside of the joint as well as not as much joint disruption inside.